even more so with Karras understanding Jarrett's game. I mean, he had 6 assists to him the other night, kind of manifest itself out there.
I think they have obviously a good chemistry. I think Jarrett, because of his ability to kind of see things in advance, he understands where Karras is going to make his move, especially in the pick and roll, and where to put himself in position so that Karras can deliver it to him. Karras has a unique ability of making plays late that can make some big guys stumble. Because they're not prepared for the ball. But I think because he and J.A. have played together so much and been involved in so many different pick and rolls, like J.A. is always on alert, right? And he puts the ball in a place where Jarrett's able to catch it. So I think they have a chemistry, and they just have a ton of reps at it. But they know how each other operate and how to put each other in position to be successful.
Early in the year, when you would expand your rotation also because of injuries, Sam and the
Who, us?
Yeah, with Sam and Craig, and you had talked about how, getting them some confidence at that point would help you later in the year. Well, look at you now and having to do that again, right? Like, how have you seen that experience from earlier in the year when they had to kind of gain that manifest itself now?
It's about their preparation, so give them credit. Their ability to maintain whatever their skill is, their conditioning, and all those things in moments where they're not getting a ton of opportunities. But again, having played, NBA basketball versus NBA competition, having successes, both of those guys have been huge parts of big wins for us. So that gives them the confidence and belief that they can. Not only that, it gives their teammates trust and belief that they can, and it gives us as a coaching staff that same trust and belief. So, again, it's an 82-game season, and you're hopeful that at some point in time everybody gets an opportunity, because that's where development comes. Development doesn't come from sitting on a bench, playing against coaches or whatever it is. Like, you've got to get NBA reps to develop as an NBA player, and gain that confidence that you belong. I think we've been unfortunate, but fortunate enough that those guys have gotten opportunities, and in a critical time for us down the stretch, we're going to need them to play, and we're going to need them to have big games for us and help us win.
Chris.
Hey, JV.
What's up, Chris?
What is the latest? I don't know. I was wondering the same thing. It's very uncomfortable.
Yeah, I agree.
Took the words right out of my mouth. We've been spending way too much time together lately, I think. What is the latest on Max, Evan, and Dean?
They're all progressing. So today was a good day for all those guys, as far as their court work and how much they could do. And then now you just wait till tomorrow, right, and see how they respond. But the objective is to put as many good days in a row as we can. So then, we put them on the floor and we're not fearing, any setbacks. So they're progressing in the right direction. And I would say they're closer, obviously, but I can't give you a timetable as when they'll all be back.
Okay. And then it's so late into the season. There are so few regular season games remaining. And Marcus just got here. And I know that part of it's by necessity. But how does a guy who comes in this late into the season earn trust from a coaching staff the way that he did the other night?
I've known Marcus for 12 or 13 years now. So this has been a long time coming. I've got just a belief in him. We spent some of, those up and down rookie and early years together where we just spent a ton of time together and got to know each other, and just understood each other as people. And then, you watch a guy over time have the career that he's had, and, he's a pro's pro. I made the joke the other day. I want to make sure I, clarify, but made the joke about him coming from the couch to the court. He and I had been talking for a while, and, he was ready. He was in the gym. He was working out. He was getting himself in position so that if he did get an opportunity, he'd be able to contribute. And when he told me that, I trusted him at his word. And again, he got his opportunity probably faster than we thought. But you see, he's a pro, and he was ready to go.
Thank you.
Chase.
This may be an impossible answer, but do you have any sort of sense of how long you're going to have with everybody together before the playoffs?
Honestly, I don't. I'm hopeful, we'll have, more than a handful of games, but I can't give you an honest answer to that yet.
How much does that complicate what you want to get done between now and setting up rotations?
It's difficult. Yeah, it's difficult, no doubt. I believe that we're fortunate enough that we've had, we have an understanding of who our guys are. One of the things that I think is a blessing is like, our guys are high basketball IQ guys and they're unselfish players. So, they can come in and kind of just fit. There may be some bumps, you know what I mean? But like for the most part, I think they can just fit. The rotation piece is going to be difficult, to be honest with you, just because we haven't had the time. I think we obviously have, the core group of guys. The back end of the rotation, is going to be a little difficult to manage, but we'll just have to figure it out.
Jim.
The NBA kind of sort of fessed up to this idea that there have been fewer foul calls recently and the scoring's been a little lower. How, if at all, have you noticed that recently in these games?
I don't know. I think that the calls, where the offense just runs into the defense, and that was typically a foul and free throws, I think they've eliminated a lot of those calls, and I think that's great for the game. If you're trying to eliminate flopping and all that stuff, I think they let guys embellish a little bit, but I think, you take those fouls out of the game, it allows defenses to actually guard people and not be afraid to defend, in isolation and one-on-ones and those types of things. So I'm all for it. I'm all for whatever the league decides to do to give the game back to the defense and make offenses have to earn everything.
Marcus said today when he checked in the other day that he was talking to the refs. Like, I see you're not calling this stuff as much anymore. How do you get? Do you have to get reacquainted with the rules, or how does that work?
No, we just go about our business, and it's. I mean, and walking a fine line here. Like every night is a different game, and every crew is a different crew, right? What one crew calls one night, another crew might not see or call differently another night. So every night you're kind of figuring out like what you can do. You have to find consistency in your approach, though. And, if you're a physical team, you gain a reputation for being a physical team, you're allowed to be physical, right? If all of a sudden out of the blue you decide to start popping people, then the refs see it and they start to call those things. So whoever you are, you got to maintain your system, your identity, and you can't worry about night by night who's reffing and what they're calling.
Jackson.
So the NBA has embraced sports gambling more. Tyrese Halliburton yesterday talked about how he's struggled with feeling like he's a prop to help people win bets. Is that a feeling that you felt from anybody inside the locker room?
I mean, I don't know. It's not a conversation that we've had, to be honest with you. I definitely see his point of view. We've had our own. I personally have had my own instances with, some of the sports gamblers where they got my telephone number and were sending me, crazy messages about where I live and my kids and all that stuff. So it is a dangerous game and a fine line that we're walking. For sure. It brings added pressure. It brings, a distraction to the game that can be difficult for players, coaches, referees, everybody that's involved in it. And I think that, we really have to be careful, with how close we let it get to the game and the security of the people who are involved in it because, again, it does carry a weight. A lot of times the people who are gambling, like this money, pays their light bill or pays their rent, and then the emotions that come from that. So I do think we're walking a very fine line, and we have to be extremely careful in protecting everybody who's involved.
You said they're kind of getting close to that line. Do you feel like they've crossed it in some areas, or?
Yeah, and there's no doubt about it that it's crossed the line. The amount of times where, I'm standing up there and we may have a 10-point lead and the spread is 11 and people are yelling at me to leave the guys in so that we can cover the spread. Like, it's ridiculous. But again, I understand the business side of it and the nature of the business of it. But I mean, it is something that I believe has gone too far.
Anything else, Laura?
Hang on a second. You're getting like threats?
Oh yeah.
Did you turn that into?
Oh yeah. They took care of it.
You
Yeah.
ever find it? Did they trace it back to?
They found it. Yeah. Yep.
Charges?
No charges, but they found him.
When was that? This year?
No, last year. Yeah.
Okay, it's gonna wrap it, Coach.
Thank you.